Hello, I'm David Leadbetter here at the Leadbetter Golf Academy at the Leeds Golf Centre in Wyke, and I'm very happy to be here, and I'm going to show you a few things relating to my new book, The A-Swing, which has been received tremendously well and can really help your golf game. The A-Swing stands for alternative, and it's really an alternative backswing because most people find the backswing extremely difficult to reproduce on a regular basis. So the backswing really creates so many problems, and in reality we want to really focus on our downswing, but the problem is we never get to that point because the backswings are so inconsistent. So what we've done really with this A-swing, and it's really an extension and evolution of what I've believed in over the years, is to create a much simpler way of getting the club back to the top, so it makes the downswing, the all-important downswing, that much easier to produce. And it all starts really with the grip. It's a slightly different grip because conventionally we say, okay, we'll get the hand parallel on the club here. And so what we're suggesting here now is we get the left hand around in a fairly strong position where we see maybe 2 to 3 knuckles, have a nice little angle at the base of the left wrist. And then to match that, we put the right hand on top in this fashion. So we've created, almost, we like to call it almost like it's the prayer grip, okay, where our hands are very symmetrical on the club. Now what this does, it allows you to get the club back and to actually set the club in a way, because your wrist action is important, set the club in a way that we never get the club head behind our hands. The big problem that we see with so many golfers, and the great thing with the A-swing, it doesn't have to be perfect, it's an approach. It's not necessarily so much a method, it's like an organic approach where you work on 1 or 2 little things and it improves the other things down the line. In other words, your impact position is going to be improved, your finish is going to be improved, your balance is going to improve. And so by having this grip, it allows us to take the club back in a way you can see that the club face looks at the ball. This is one thing we see it's a very common error. We see players do this all the time, where the club face opens up, they whip it inside, and then the arms sort of have to lift, and then from here on in, so many of the faults that we see in golf occur. And everything is geared around trying to get the club into a good position coming down, because golf is very difficult to the golf swing is a difficult movement to try to imagine, because it's neither horizontal, sort of like a baseball or a tennis motion, or it's neither vertical like croquet. We're swinging on an inclined plane, and trying to get that club into this position is really what it's all about. And if you look at it's probably the common denominator with every top player, is that halfway down, the club is on a matching plane to where it started at address. If you can get to this position coming down and go ahead and let the club release, as it's termed, you will never slice the ball. Okay, impossible, because it's geometrically impossible, because you're not swinging across the ball in this fashion. What we see with players, 90% of golfers, that when they come down, the shaft is too vertical and they swipe across the ball, and as a result they're going to hit pulls and slices and have very inconsistent contact and really losing a lot of power, because when you've got the club sort of wiping across the ball like this, you're not meeting it with the full face of the club. So I'm going to do this in sort of slow motion. Setup wise, it's fairly conventional, getting good balance at address. And as you can see, as I swing it back here, I move my body. It's not like I'm just moving my hands and my arms. We're always focusing on the word core. Okay, we use the core. We move the abdominal area. And as I do this, you can see, look where the club head is. I set the club in a way that's fairly steep. So this is what we're looking for. We're looking for this angle going back, and then conventionally, or conversely I should say, it's against convention. Convention says we should be here, but conversely from here, as I move my body, the club actually shallows out onto the plane that we desire coming down. So it's a vertical or steep backswing and a shallow downswing. And when I say steep, I've got this little, it's nice that you don't have to bend over and pick this thing up, very handy, called the boomerang. And the reason we want to use this is because I'm not suggesting in any way, even though we want the club fairly upright and steep, or very upright and steep, we're not trying to get the arms up. That's the thing that we don't want to sort of confuse. We want a fairly upright swing with the shaft, but a fairly flat swing with the arm. So you can see my arms are always connected. So it doesn't require a long swing. It's great for senior golfers, people who have a lot of flexibility. But on the other hand, young players who can create this coil and torque, it really winds them up. So it benefits both types of players. And you know, the great thing about this is that we're suggesting as you swing back, yes, the club head stays outside the hands. We can see where the club is. Even if you had the club here, in other words, okay, this would be the perfect model. Okay, this is the model we work towards. But even if you're sort of here, that's why I'm saying it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. You can just take a couple of the pills. You don't have to take the whole bottle. But even if the club was here, most people would be far better off. If you look at Jack Nicklaus during the height of his career, he always had the club up on its end, as we like to call it. And then as he moved his body, and that's the big key, as you move your body, the club automatically moves down onto the plane that we're describing. So it's steep, shallow. And you'll notice as I do this, I never feel like the club head gets behind my hands. Okay, here's my hands, there's the club. We're trying to keep the club head in front of the hands all the way back. So we're just creating this movement. And it's nice because as I do this, it creates a nice flow to the swing as well. What we see with so many golfers, they get to the top somehow and they're dragging the club back. They use their upper body to try to hit the ball. So it's a great way of sort of feeling the natural motion of the swing, which I'll describe right here very briefly. If I grab the club with 2 fingers and a thumb, as I swing it back, you'll notice, I'll get in line with the camera here, but watch here, there's no opening in the club. Okay? It's just the club sort of has a sweet spot, and this is a very natural movement. Now watch what happens here, interesting. Look where the club goes. As I let the club naturally set here, look at the vertical nature of the shaft. And as I just complete the movement, the club, if anything, points slightly across the line. Now, this is one of the no-nos in golf. You can't have the club across the line. But yet, many of the world's great players, going back to Bobby Jones, Jack Nicklaus, Tom Watson, even Tiger Woods in his younger years, actually had the club slightly across the line. So as you then move forward, the club now rebounds back onto the right plane. So it creates all this energy and this flow. So I'll sort of do this in slow motion here. And you'll just notice as I do this, we're going to set up to it here, and I'm going to rehearse the start. You can see, look where this is. My arm is in, very important. Hands are in, arm is in, club is out. And as I swing it back, you'll notice the steepness as I make my movement. And before you know it, you've hit the ball. It's not like you have to work on your downswing. Working on the downswing is the hardest thing in the world. But if you set the stage where, hey, the club is in good balance, and as you start to move forward, all of a sudden, the club just creates its own energy, and boom, you hit it. And I'm telling you right now, if you're having problems with your game, because we have seen dramatic results. We've done this for a couple of years, working on this. It's not something I didn't have an epiphany one morning and say, oh, I'm going to develop this new swing. This is an extension and evolution, as I said, of my beliefs through the years, having worked with great players like Nick Price and Nick Faldo, Sir Nick Faldo, I should say. And so this really, it's creating a lot of stir, especially in America. The book's been out for a few weeks. And I've had people come up to me and said, you know, listen, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. It's so easy. It's very easy to teach from a teacher's perspective. It's very easy to learn because there's only a few points you need to get in your mind. And the great thing is then, it's easy to teach teachers to teach this. So all the teachers here at the Leeds Golf Centre, at the Leadbetter Academy, are working on the A-swing. So I'm telling you right now, this could really change the fabric of golf instruction, because golf instruction hasn't really changed over the years. So I hope you give the A-swing a chance. I hope these tips helped, and have fun working on it.
Up to the left of the target, where we want the ball to start, start shaping. So you can see that I've set myself up here just now.